Now Doody, quick beer review. This is a craft IPA from Lidl. It says US of IPA, modern craft IPA. It's a 5.5% and this is a 330ml can. It says only under allergy advice that it contains barley and rye. Otherwise, it just says it's an India Pale Ale from down South Brewing. Not at all sure who they are. Some of these supermarkets make up brand names, but it would be made under license by somebody or other, somebody well known. Anyway, get some of that poured. So that's quite dark for an IPA, quite lacy head, but I'm expecting this to be reasonably malty. But let's get some aroma. Reasonably stinted aroma. Should we give this a taste? Yeah, very malty. So, not very sweet. Quite bitter, in fact. As you'd expect from an IPA. But the malt profile, with the twang of rye, is much more prominent than the hop profile. Yeah, that's nice. Quite dry. Quite surprisingly dry, really. You can definitely taste the rye. A distinct twang. No, this is malty with a twang of rye, balanced by some hops. But I couldn't say I know what hops are in this. There's certainly quite a lot. You can taste it in the bitterness, and there's a resinous, almost astringently resinous aspect. But I couldn't tell what it was. I mean, you wouldn't say that you know that's Cascade or Amarillo or anything really, but I imagine it is an American hop. Just because you'd have to put an awful lot of English hops in to get the same effect, and that might not be cost effective. And anyways, in accordance with the beer style. But there's almost certainly one of the 3 C's in there, if not more. But it's very hard to discern. You couldn't really say that that was citrusy or grapefruity or really fruity at all. It's not so savoury as to be something like Chinook or a more traditional bittering hop. There's nothing outrageously fruity in it. Not at all. No Citra. What's the other one? That's like Citra on steroids. It'll come back to me. It will come back to me. I'd say New World hops, but nothing too fancy. Very nice, very drinkable. I think I probably have served that a little bit colder, just a little bit. This is, yeah, more like a sort of bitter temperature. And for an IPA, really, it should have been a bit colder. I've got another can, which is still in the fridge, and I shall therefore be serving a little colder still. But sometimes you can get more of the flavour from it at a warmer temperature, even if that isn't the temperature at which it's intended to be drunk. I intended to be drunk. And I think it's an achievable goal for the day. I haven't achieved myself, so I think it's realistic. I think I can realistically achieve that in the rest of the time I have my waking hours. So, yeah, not bad, really not bad at all. It's about £1 odd a can in English sterling. It's £1 and something, but it is only 33 centilitre. It's quite drinkable, and if you were going for a bit of an array of beers, or particularly if you were, say, trying to go from an IPA to a bitter, this would be an excellent staging post. in my humble opinion. But it is a humble opinion. I'm by no means an expert, and it's very much the case that the more that you learn, the more you realise there is to learn. I'd say that this is almost certainly a lager malt as a base. A lot of IPAs are. Certainly very pale base malt. And then you've got some sort of rye in there and probably some Cara red or something. Definitely slightly red. And as I say, the hops could be almost any zesty New World hop, but it's almost overwhelmed by the malt, which I quite like. I wouldn't really call this an IPA. I've had other American beers like this, where the malt is the main profile. The hops merely balance out the strong malt profile. And I absolutely love the rye in it. There's that twang. Oh, if you get that right, if you don't overdo it, it's really nice, that the malt with the rye twang, with the New World hops. That's an excellent beer, it really is. I'll be buying that again, for sure. So, I do this thing, stick or twist. If I were in a pub, and I bought a measure of said beer, and they had plenty of other beers in their selection, then would I stick with this because I like it that much, I'd be happy to drink it for the rest of the evening? Or would I twist and take a gamble, a punt, on one of the other casks? And in the case of this, I think unless I was fairly sure that there was something else I wanted to try, I think I'd stick on this one. I think I could quite happily drink this one all night. Unfortunately, I've only got the 2 cans, and it's still daytime, so best not to start from here, eh? But nonetheless, a very impressive product. This craft IPA by the down South Brewing Company, whoever they may or may not be. Happy to have this. Great body on it, by the way. Really good body. Almost certainly some wheat in there as well, I would say. A bit of malted wheat, perhaps. Bit of rye. Bit of barley. And some lovely New World hops. I highly recommend this. Anyway, I really think I have exhausted everything I can say about this particular little beer. Thank you for your indulgence.